So the movie we're doing is the prequel to X called Pearl.
Which is basically about the killer from X and how she became a killer. And
it was released in the same year.
Yeah, so it was like back to back. It was like they wrote them. It was like, all right, push them both out there.
Yeah, that was awesome. And different times.
Except that the movies were taken.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying.
That's why they're on the show.
This is it. So this one, Pearl, is X was in the later year. We already talked about that. So we were talking about Pearl.
Pearl was in 1918.
18 during the World War. So
One.
World War One.
World War One.
I know my history and my math.
The Great War at the time, because they didn't know it was the first one. It was just the Great War.
Been at war ever since, I believe. Who knows? And also during this time, it was not COVID.
It was
the Spanish influenza. And it got a lot of people, and people were in masks and everything.
Yeah.
And it ended up getting her father.
Yeah. You said it was the flu. I don't remember. I don't remember that part.
I remember the lady, the mom was like, and bring it in, and this will happen to your father. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So Pearl. Pearl is a young woman. In the beginning, you're like, oh, such a bright Disney-like woman.
Yeah, but like I already seen part 2, so I knew something shady was going to happen. I didn't know what it was. But then, like, well, let's talk about the movie.
Okay.
What happened?
It begins with Pearl going out into the barn or telling that she has to do some farm work, right?
Yeah, I think that's where it started.
Yeah, we'll just start it from there. And she goes out there, she talks to the lamb. Hey, Mary. She talks to the cow. She put her lips on the cow. The cow did not like that. Peter? Okay.
Yeah, well, Peter, like, look what she did to the goose. Then the goose came in.
And then, but
So,
first
hey,
she was
Mr. Goose.
singing and dancing because she wants to sing and dance.
Yes. Because if you remember in part 2, she said, I was a dancer.
Like Thriller. She did dance kind of like Thriller. But, so the goose came in. And
she said, hi, Mr. Goose.
And then she
grabbed the pitchfork and pitchforked the goose.
And she carried Mr. Goose all nicely down to see Theta. Who's Theta? Not the Alpha Omega, but Theta.
Theta's the alligator that she was feeding everybody to in part 2. So turns out she'd been feeding people to this alligator for a long time because it was huge then. So she threw the duck in, the goose in, and Theta ate the goose.
Yes. So that's right, ducks and
then she goes back to dinner.
She goes in the house for dinner, and that's when you see the mom and the dad. Yeah. No, she cleans up, and she's in the tub while her dad's sitting right there watching.
I thought they ate before that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I thought she was cleaning.
I don't know.
I think she just like washed the blood off, but I don't think. Then after they went to dinner, I think that was before bed when she was in the tub and her dad was just sitting there looking.
Yeah, because he's like stroking or he's there inside, but his body can't move.
Yeah, he's just like, and they're feeding him like oatmeal and shit.
Yeah, but she's washing him in the tub naked while her dad's sitting there watching her. Weird.
Yeah, and
the
that poor man looked so sad the whole time. He just looked
like somebody get me.
Yeah, he didn't want to die, but he didn't want to be there neither. None of them wanted to be in the house.
None of them wanted to be in the house. Not one of them. But the mother, she came in. She didn't mind her being naked in front of her father. Gross. And her mother was very stern. We thought she was like a postal worker at first because she had a teller's outfit on.
Yeah, but turns out she was just an old lady from Germany because she had a real strong German accent. At least I think.
Yeah,
one of them Bavarian countries.
No, they were German. I believe they were German.
Okay.
Germany was there at the time.
Germany there.
You know, they had different names. But she was very strict with Pearl. She kept her in the house, and she told Pearl to go in town
to get
morphine.
Well, her father's medicine, but yeah, that's what it turned out to be morphine. And Pearl took the change and was like, "Ooh, I'm going to the movies."
Yes.
So she go into the movies, and then she popped morphine like.
She was like, "Good." And
sat back and watched that movie.
And it was like a can movie, and they did the can dancing and everything. And afterward, she met the man who does the picture shows in the alley.
Oh, he wasn't in it. She met him in the alley. He wasn't in the alley doing picture shows. He was the guy who ran the projector. You made it sound like he was in the alley doing picture shows.
Grammar, semantics, all the other stuff. So she talks to him. He gives her a magazine, tells her that he believes that she could be a star. She takes that really to heart, and she goes to heart, to her head. She goes back home, but on her way back home, scarecrow.
Yeah, and she takes him down off the thing. And she sings and dances with the scarecrow first. Then she lays him down and humps him. I think that was her favorite part, obviously.
And then she takes the hat, because that's what you do when you have sex with a scarecrow.
You take his hat.
And, or hunch with a scarecrow. And she goes home. Her mother asks her where she'd been, how long she took. She's like, oh, I wasn't hunching the scarecrow. I was in town. It took forever. They have dinner. Right? No. Okay.
They already had dinner.
They already had dinner. They have dinner a few times in the movie.
Yeah,
because, of course, people eat dinner.
Yeah.
But I believe she goes out, her husband, she's married. Her husband's at war.
Yeah, Howard.
From the second movie.
Yeah, he's already in World War I. Being a Marine, like he said, once a Marine, always a Marine. In the second movie.
But Howard comes from an affluent family where he didn't have to go to war, but he wanted to go to war. She met him on their land. He was a farmhand.
And he didn't have to be, but he chose to be from weirdo dude.
And she chose him because she thought he was going to take her to be an affluency.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Yeah. And he was like, no, I don't want it. So she was stuck again, too. Her mother was stuck because the father was supposed to take care of her.
And he got sick.
And now she has to take care of everything. Yeah. Now, Pearl was married Howard. Yes. And thought he was going to take her away, but he didn't. He left for war and left her with her mother, who was kind of mean to her, but we understand why. Yeah. She was stern. So the sister-in-law and the mother-in-law come over to bring a pig. They had a bunch of pigs.
Yeah, little suckling pigs in the roasting pan.
Yeah. To offer because people were sick and people were in and, just being neighborly. But the mother says,
we don't accept charity. Set it there. And told her to set it on the porch. And that pig sat on the porch for the rest of the movie.
The rest of the movie.
Yep, covered in maggots and flies.
No more rest of it. Yeah. So the sister-in-law takes Pearl in the barn and says, Pearl, guess what? They're having a audition for choir girls.
Or dancing girls. At the church to go around from county to county, all around and dance for everybody. Yeah.
Pearl lights up and says that's her dream. She can get off the farm and she loves dancing and entertaining. So she said, please keep it a secret because I don't want my mom to know. So Pearl keeps it a secret, almost, but not. Yeah. So that night, Pearl goes out and meets the...
No, that's when she takes a pop down.
No. She met the guy first. Yeah, she met the guy first. And they went back to the picture show and he shows her, asks her which film she want to watch. And she's like, I don't the same one. He said, no, I got something for you. Yeah,
and he put on one of them blue films. He's like, people pay a lot to see these.
And you know what blue films are? It's about balls, but they ain't blue. So,
look it up if you don't know.
And he shows her that nothing happens between them that night, but she's excited.
No, that was the second time, so this one.
I thought the third time was when they did it.
There was a third time? I don't know.
No, it was the third time. She left and went home.
Okay.
And she climbed back in her window, and that's when she knew about the dream. It was a fly.
It was a fly. I seen it.
So they're at dinner. I don't think they did it that time. No, they didn't do it yet because that's when they did it. They're at dinner and the mom is telling her, the next morning happens. And that's what she did to the dad. Okay. You say that.
Yeah. Well, she just took the dad for a walk in his little wheelchair. All the way down to see Theta. Theta was coming. Dad was right on the his eyes got real big.
She said, Daddy, I love you, but I'm about to leave and I can't leave you like this. And this is the best way for you. He's like, ooh. And the mother comes and says, hey, child, what you doing with my honey?
Yeah, and she's like, no.
And so the mother says the father doesn't want, the father's sitting here at the dinner table. The mother's there, Pearl's there. They get into some kind of argument because Pearl wants to go.
That's when she tells her mom. She tells her mom about it. She's like, "Yeah, I want to go. Look, if I don't get it, I'll come back. I'll never say anything again. I'll shut up. But if I do get it, I gotta go. I have take this chance because if I don't take this chance, I'll never know. Never know."
Her mother's like, I want to go too, and you can't go nowhere. You need to stay on the farm because something wrong with you, girl.
You thinking we don't know? We know something wrong with you.
You know something wrong with you. I know something wrong with you. And Daddy's just like,
And you can't be around people because you ain't right.
Because you know you ain't right. You got something dark and bad in you. And that's why I want you to stay in the house. And she's like, but mama, I need to do this. And they tussle back and forth. And then the mom smacked her.
Yeah.
And Pearl said, what? Swap. And they tussle back and forth. And the dad sitting there like, And she pushes the mom close to the fire. And back then, I guess wool and everything was very flammable. Because she went up in flames. And I don't think they knew how to stop, drop, and roll.
Like the Wicked Witch. And she kind of gave them vibes too.
Yeah, she did. Like if she was riding a bike. So she goes up in flames. Pearl, what Pearl throw on her?
What did she throw?
It was water, but what kind of water? You remember? The water from the stove that had the corn cooking in it.
Oh yeah, it was boiling water. I'm like, oh, she threw that.
That probably did most.
Yeah, and then like a lot of her skin washed away, and it was really kind of gruesome, gruesome kind of.
Yeah. And then what Pearl do? The dad sitting there like,
oh shit,
me next.
Yeah.
But she loved her dad.
Yeah.
Still. All right. She takes the mom and she grabs her by the leg and drags her down the steps. Boom, 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 boom.
And just leaves her in the basement.
Leaves her there and say, you lay here. She goes back to daddy. And she say, daddy. No, she don't even go back to the daddy this time. She leaves daddy in there. That's what she leaves go and do with the man. She up there doing it to people.
She killed her. Well, thought she killed her mom. And then went and
did the nasty. She wasn't hunching this time.
Yeah.
A little poke.
Yeah, I guess that murder got her all worked up.
So she does that. She the night before the audition thing. Yeah. She tells the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're gonna be great." And he's like, "She's getting ready to leave. I'm late." He said, "I'll drive you back." Is that when? No, I think no, that's true. He drives her back, and then she's like, wait a minute, don't come in yet. She goes in, cleans up her father a little bit. Yeah. Because he's been sitting at the table all night. Yeah. And he's still like, what the fuck? And so she brings him in the room. She cleans him up a little bit, gives him his morphine. Yeah. And then she asks the guy to come in. And then that's right. He sees all the food on the floor and
the dead pig outside.
And the dead pig outside with maggots on it. And he's like, well, is everything okay? He's like, oh, we have a dog and it's made a mess. Yeah. And he keeps hearing this thudding sound. And she's like, oh, that's just the dog. And here's my father. And he goes to meet the father. He's like, why you show me your father? And okay, we're going to leave him down here. Let's go up into my room. He didn't want to go up to the room. Yeah. But she goes up there and he start kissing, and he's like, your dad's downstairs, this is weird. And then he keeps hearing the thud, and she's like, oh, leave it alone, it's a dog. And so he goes back downstairs, and I think they go into the barn. And she's like, let me show you the barn. She's like, this is my animal, this one, and my animal, this one. Yeah. And then and these are all of our animals. He said, well, what about the dog? She said, oh, we don't have a dog. And he said, you know what?
Yeah.
I think it's getting late.
I'm gonna get out of here.
You go to your audition, you'll do great. And she said, well, hold on, wait a minute.
Why you acting different?
Why you acting different? He said, oh, I'm not acting different. And she said, you're lying. Because I can tell people lie. He said, well, you kind of scare me.
She said, what you mean I'm scaring you?
And he was like, you have a good life. Peace out. So she said, what?
What? You gonna leave me?
Then he gets in the car, and he should have got off fast, and he turns around, he doesn't see her. He turned around, waggle, all in his chest, the pitchfork. Yeah.
Yeah, she was nice with the pitchfork.
Yeah, it's fine. And he just, and he did it again, and then just killed him. And left him there for a minute. Yep. Went in the house, got her a red dress.
Look real nice.
Real nice. Got so ready for the audition. Went down to her father and said, oh, Daddy, I love you so much. She untaped the pillow out the pillowcase. Yep. She walks up, she nicely puts it over her daddy's head and said, I love you, Daddy. And I know you're going to look down on me proud. And before he put the pillowcase in, he said, what? Yeah. Off's daddy. Yep. 3 bodies? Yeah, I'll come to find out she's been killing animals for a long time. Yeah. And then it started getting bigger animals and it's got a little weird. Yeah. So she kills the dad. She heads on out to the audition at the church. Yeah. And when she gets there, she sees her sister-in-law who's saving a seat for her.
Yeah. Little blonde hair, blue eyed girl.
All American type, and that's what they were looking for. All American type.
All American blonde hair, blue eyed girl. Exactly what they were looking for.
So she asked Pearl to go in before her, and all the girls are coming out just crying. There's no other blonde hair, blue eyed girls.
Yeah.
They're crying and stuff, and Pearl goes in, and she's like, "Yes, I'm here, I made it."
Yeah, and she sings this.
And it's an X on the floor. That's what I'm saying. The orange to X. It was an
Yeah.
X on the floor. She walks onto that X. And she's singing her heart out, and then she has like a montage behind her of the army, and she's just in her mind, and she's going and going. Not really good at dancing, but whatever. In her mind.
Yeah. Best she ever did.
And that's what she said. This is the best dancing I ever did. And they was like, oh, well,
it was good, but you're not what we're looking for.
We want something more all-American, like blonde hairish and blue-eyed and And so she looks and she's like, no, I'm not leaving. No.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like, please don't make it. And then she comes out and she's crying. Bawling. And then it cuts to the scene where her just bawling on the side of the church. And her sister-in-law comes in and is like, Pearl, come on, baby, let's go home. That's okay. So she takes Pearl home.
Yeah.
And they sit across from each other at the table. And she says, she's just like, I just wanted to make it. I want to get out of here. And she's like, Pearl, what's wrong? Talk to me. And she said, well, I'm going to talk to you like you're Howard, my husband. And boy, did she let it all out.
Yeah.
She told her why she picked Howard. She told her all about the killing of animals. She told her about, we forget about that. The mama came up on the steps and she said, oh man, get on back down there. You want to sit here and
Yeah, her mom tried to crawl up the steps and she found her
so she tells her about that, and sister-in-law just sitting there like,
Right, you can see her face start to change too, and she realized like, oh fuck.
And then when Pearl is done, she's like, I'm not a bad person. I'll just be here and just love Howard forever. If you just come back to me, I'm okay now. I just want to do this. She's like, do you think I'm a bad person? She's like, oh no, girl.
No, you good.
But I gotta go. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go. And so she's like, you still love me and I'm not bad? She's like, sis.
Yeah, we cool.
I just gotta go. So she walks out slowly. I don't know why she walked out slowly. Walks past Pearl's bike. I would hopped on that bike. Walking down the road in high heels. My heels were as I was talking like, oh child, no, we cool. And of course, as always, some people don't have coordination. And we knew she was gonna fall.
Well, what happened was she ended up telling Pearl she won because Pearl was like, I know you won. Just say it. It's okay. Just say it. Just say it. It's okay. I know. She was like,
well, maybe you can come visit me.
Okay.
You will be going. So Pearl comes out and Pearl's walking. Pearl is doing the Jason or Michael Myers.
Yeah, she's just walking.
And her sister-in-law is doing the same thing them girls do and boys do in Michael Myers.
Running and looking back.
And fall because like in football, who did that in football? They can't run and look back because they fall.
Stop it.
Well, so that happens. She falls. Pearl kills her with what? The axe in the back of her. She stabs her in the back with the axe, and she's running. Stab her again with the axe, and then she lays down. I'm not gonna tell anybody. Yes, you are, because you got stabbed with the axe.
Yeah, basically,
it's over.
You're bleeding out. Yeah. So I won't tell. Just let me live.
So she kills her.
Yeah.
She dumps the man's car into the river with Theta. Did she chop the sister? I think
she chopped her into little pieces. Yep. And fed her to Theta.
Ooh.
One piece at a time.
Bad. And so after that, she goes back in the house. She gets her mother, who has died trying to get out the cellar door.
Yeah, trying to climb out the window.
She lays on her mom and put her arm around and say, Mommy, and they start singing a German song. Then she takes her mom upstairs and sets her at the table. She takes her father, sets him at the table. She takes the pig from outside that's maggoted and almost is rotten. Yeah. Sets it on the table with the corn and everything. She sits at the table and says, bless us, O Lord, for these our gifts which you're about to receive, for the nourishment of our body, through Christ our Lord. Amen. And then days go by, and we just see the table and the pig. How we know time is going by is the pig is deteriorating more and more. But guess who's coming down the road?
Howard came home. And you know him, he just loved his wife and was happy to get some, so he let her keep killing stuff.
He ain't even like this thing. He comes in and she just is like, Howard. And that was the end of the movie. She just smiled and then crazy.
Yeah.
And Howard stayed.
Yeah, because he was there all old in part 2.
So that was Pearl.
Yeah.
Strange.
Now that you know about it, you ain't really got to watch it. But if you choose to, you know Jennifer.
If you do watch it, watch X first, then watch
Yeah,
Pearl.
because that was the orders that came out.
Yeah.
Like when you watch part 3 of Star Wars first, because that was the first one.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining in with us at B to Z.
No A's allowed.
See you next
Movie.